Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Super-Fanta-Fi. This being a show where I talk about TV shows of the supernatural, fantasy, and/or science fictional genre. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of Roswell, New Mexico. A lot of interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. I thought the intros of this was kind of interesting. Obviously, we're getting a look, like this episode gives us quite a bit of like a back look, a look into, Liz and Diego's relationship, kind of like, when he ended up popping a question to her, obviously, like when her research really started to kind of kick off and she was kind of in the process of, first working on like what she's basically the early stages of what she's kind of working on now that she has alien DNA. It allows her to kind of continue the work she was trying to do before of like, trying to find something that could basically make all like human issues and diseases kind of obsolete, like, make it so that that's not a possibility for, so making it all a possibility, they heal humans from anything. Sorry, my speech is all over the place. I'm sorry. But the fact of the matter is, at the same time, like you have Liz waking up, at the exact moment. At the same moment, so is Max. And obviously, it's like this interesting thing of both of them doing some like stuff that they're not telling the other about her research. Max doing his own experiments, trying to reclaim some of his own memories and stuff like that. Some of the stuff that's very deep. So, which is so interesting considering everything that's going on, because eventually like Diego's talking to her about, having a means of retrieving memories, even traumatic ones. So it's like that storyline is kind of interesting because it's coinciding with like the fact is Max is trying to retrieve some like traumatic memories and he's going about his way, but it's like maybe there'll be another way to kind of handle. Well, to be fair, they're trying to find a way of counteracting that drug that wipes memory. His is more so buried trauma, but it's like it's still kind of the same thing. So that's why I'm like, I don't know if they're going to end up connecting in that regard, like whatever cure they potentially make for restoring someone's memory, these traumatic memories, maybe they could apply it to Max as well, or at the very least, maybe this alien, that stuff can be the key to potentially restoring someone's memories, like Cam's, for example, or Maria's mom's, for example. But regardless, tangents and all that. Obviously, Diego does show back up, and I love Isabel because at first she's like, "Oh, like, are you two about to have your first fight?" She's like, "Oh, can I be here to like, fix some popcorn or something for the fight?" And obviously, she's there to when she gets to meet Diego too, she's like, whoa, being so impressed with him. Max is like, okay, let the nice man's hands go. Because I also love the fact it's like, whoa, he's like, yeah, I kind of went on a little bit of a run, just a little light exercise. And then like Isabel's busting his balls, being like, oh yeah, like ever since he met that ex of yours, he's been trying to, get a little more in shape and stuff like that. But nevertheless, Max, ends up meeting up with Kyle because he's looking into this whole situation of this drug and everything. So he's trying to find, because in his mind he's thinking this might be alien related, because he's thinking like, oh, maybe this has something to do with that Operation Shepherd. And so he's thinking like, okay, so he goes to Kyle about this because he can't ask Alex about it because Alex is gone and no one knows that he's actually been kidnapped. We'll get to that later on. But the fact of the matter is, when it's all said and done, like obviously, Kyle has struggles of his own because he's basically getting suspended from work because they're finding out the fact is there's stuff missing. Are you responsible for it? So because of Liz and everything, he's kind of in that position. But obviously he goes to Kyle for help with this situation. He's like, I know you got your own problems, but the fact of the matter is I need your help looking into this, because he thinks like these kidnappings and stuff like that, because once again he was thinking that the burn marks were like alien powers and stuff like that. So him and Kyle do some investigating, and it's actually interesting because like while they're kind of looking into this, Max kind of feels bad because he's like, it's actually interesting because like this is an instance of like Kyle and Max bonding, which is kind of interesting, which I also think is kind of interesting too, because I'm like, while you two are bonding, it's also like Max is in a relationship with Liz. Kyle and Liz were in a relationship, and obviously her ex is in town, so it's just interesting to me to see them end up bonding like that. But obviously he's like, oh, we could go by Liz's lab and pick up the equipment and we can turn it in so you don't end up losing your job. And Max is like, Kyle's like, no, we don't have to, because it's like, right, because he knows that Liz is doing some shit like experiment wise that like Liz wants to keep that hush hush what she's up to, especially from Max and the others. So, but he's like, no, we can do that. Because I think for him too, it's like he owes Kyle a lot too. It's like, the fact is I owe you a lot for the fact is all that you've done for us. So they go there, but Liz locked even Kyle out of it. So I guess even because I know she knows that he would have reservations about what she does. But that's just interesting, like that she ended up having the foresight to lock him out. Because I guess the thing is she didn't want to take the chance anyone would come there to jeopardize what she's been up to. So no one else has access. But now this whole situation's got them thinking back and forth about like, what if the person behind this maybe this isn't necessarily alien related, that maybe this is purely military, because then they start piecing it together. Like the fact is that Flint, one of Alex's brothers, is into like what he does in the military and stuff like that is like weaponized stuff, and he's kind of like a weapon expert and stuff like that. So this, because the whole thought process, like what you could do with this drug that can wipe people's memories, it's like either kind of help your soldiers with PTSD, any rough memories they have, you kind of wipe their memories and kind of put them back in the field, or you could just use it as a weapon, have combatants that can't remember what they were fighting for in the first place. So it's like Flint became their number one suspect. They even go to his place and everything, and obviously they hide in the closet. I expected it to actually be Michael there, but I'm assuming we find out it's the other person involved. We'll get to that soon enough. But I thought it was interesting because like Kyle's leaning, he's like, did anyone ever tell you smell like rain? And Max is almost like, what? Because he sees the gun and it's like, oh, so Flint was the one who came after Cam, was shot at him and Charlie, and it's like, whoa. So I was like, wow. I guess I never expected that, because like he's always been such a background character. He's only popped up like a handful of times, and so for him to be kind of like a background character, for him to be like the one behind all this was like kind of like whoa. Because at the same time, Michael realizes something's wrong because he finds that napkin that had that information that Alex had written out, and he's like, wait, where's Alex? So he goes to Alex's place. Lo and behold, who does he find there? Jesse. So he uses powers against Jesse to be like, oh, like the fact is, what did you do to Alex? But he's like, I didn't do anything. The fact of the matter is, you can go ahead and kill me, but you're going to be getting rid of the one person who could be your lead. So they reluctantly work together. He sets up a meeting with Flint. And now it's interesting because like why Flint is the way he is interesting, because it's like you basically brought your children up to be a certain way. Like obviously, like, because it's a thing of like Alex isn't, manly enough and stuff like that. Like, in Jesse's eyes, trying to kind of put more of a, quote unquote man in and make more of a man out of him. And then, but he kind of pushed Flint so much because now Flint's like exactly like a carbon copy of him. And he looks at his dad and it's like, look at you, you've grown so soft and weak. Like the fact of the matter is you made me this way, and there's no going back from that. So the fact of the matter is I'm going to do the work that you're too much of a punk to finish. And then he ends up dropping some info that Michael didn't know. He's like, you're just mad because I took him from you. And it's like, wait, what? All that he said is bullshit. He had Jesse actually was the one who took Alex. It wasn't Flint. Flint took him from Jesse, and the moment Michael uses his telekinesis to grab his cane and whacks him, because he's like, he's like, you have all these claims about us being aliens and stuff like that. The fact of the matter is you're not even human. Like, why would you literally were going to take your own son? And he was like, I get it, you got the piece of the ship you wanted. You were going to kill Alex before Flint took him because Alex was a hallucination. It's like you were considering killing your own son, but in his mind it's like, well, it was necessary. That's why I think like Uncle Trip's death wasn't just I think his brother killed him. I think that might be something we get revealed. They just make it seem like, oh, like something went down and he died. Like that's all like Trip's brother said, but I'm like, it's because he knew the truth, like about, so like it's almost like Jesse's kind of repeating history in a sense like that, because Jesse's more like Trip's brother, and Alex is the one that's, well, it's actually the parallels are actually already there. The comparison between Trip and his brother is literally what's going on between Alex and Flint. So, it's history even more so repeating like that. But it's like the fact of the matter is I'm always angry is kind of what, he was saying. And like the fact is, but your son, he has a capacity to love, so he's moved past you and he's moved past me. Like the fact is Alex is a better person, but the fact of the matter is for whatever stupid reason, like obviously he still cares about you and everything like that. And it's like, what's the point? It's like, it just shows you how much of a piece of shit Jesse is. Like, because his whole like front he's made trying to make it seem like he was like, oh, like I've given up my hateful ways, and it's like, no, you're not, you know. And it's like going this far, so it's just kind of, because I think he was going to get, like, I guess I wonder what he was going to do in the end, like if they did manage to get, you know, Alex back. What was his plan to kill Alex and Michael? Like, you know, because he's not in a position to overpower Michael, so he doesn't have much choice in that matter. So Michael, regardless, you know, just kind of leaves Jesse where he is and ends up going after Flint, beating the crap out of him and taking him. At the same time, we have everything with Liz and Diego. Obviously, like, they're reminiscing a lot about the past because he's trying to, like, help her out with, like, her trying to figure things out about, you know, what she's working on, her secret project, as well as, you know, this whole thing for a cure for this memory wiping drug. But, because, like, there was, like, basically we find out in the past, like, her funding got pulled because she went from using worms to try and use human cells, but he was suggesting her to use this particular group, but Liz didn't want to do it because she's like, they might not have the same morals. Like, they go above red tape and stuff like that. Yes, I have my issues with the way things are kind of handled. Like the research she's trying to do is good, but it's just kind of like the government kind of getting in her way about it, you know, sometimes. But obviously this group, she doesn't, I forgot what they were called, but it's like, she doesn't want to go with them. And it seems like present day Diego's like, oh, you should always, you know, sign up with them. You give them your research, like, you'll be able to do, you know, kind of be able to cut past a lot of stuff and be able to do a lot of good with your research. At the same time, Ice shows up. In particular, it's the same agent that took her dad last time, and he's there causing more shit. Like, I forgot, the other dude made some, like, racist remark, you know, like, it's like, oh, for a Mexican, it's like, oh, you'd be pretty if it wasn't for, another dude's like, oh, you'd be pretty if it wasn't for your nasty mouth. I'm like, holy shit, I'm like, do you have to be such scumbags? And, you know, luckily Diego was there to kind of alleviate some of it. But Liz is like, you know what this nasty mouth is going to say? And then she's going like after a home dude, the main dude. And not like, you know, she's saying all this stuff about, like, the fact is that, you know, why, like, because basically at the end of the day, it's like, why, you know, does that officer have more of a right than her, you know, and her dad? It's just like you took my dad, you know, you broke some kind of, like, laws because you just took my dad when he was in the hospital and stuff like that. The fact of the matter is just the way you handling stuff. It's like, yeah, like, basically bringing up, obviously, a very, you know, sadly, a very topical subject. I mean, it's always continuously a topical subject, but it's like, why are you able to bend the rules a little bit, and when the rules kind of, like, it comes down harsher on us? For example, like, it's like your sister has a child that's going to a school not in the district they live in. So it's kind of like, yeah, you can't bend the rules, but why? And he's like, because I'm me. So it's just kind of like, you know, kind of almost like you're you and I'm me, know your place type of situation. But Diego's like, oh, I'm glad you're saying all this stuff about, like, you know, Border Patrol and stuff like that, because he's like, I'm actually pretty closely tied. They're family friends. Liz here is also a family friend. So kind of, it also shows you, you know, sadly, it's like, at the end of the day, it's always going to come down to your skin and everything, but also, like, you know, and sadly, it does come down to a situation of, sadly, it comes down to who you know. If Diego wasn't there, that situation with Liz, and they're, like, dumping the cup, like, they pour the cups over, and it's like, there was a lady sitting right beside him, look at him, and it's like, obviously, for the context of the show, they didn't say anything, but that's a moment of just like, what the fuck, like, I saw that was shitty of them to do that, like, and he's like, oops, I did it again. It's just like, Jesus, major abuse of power, you know? So obviously Diego wants to do whatever he can to help her, but he's even saying, like, if she works with the, you know, company he's trying to get her to work for, it's like they can, you know, put your dad in a position where, because that was always a thing for her of, like, she wanted to be able to put her dad in a position where he wouldn't have to be scared anymore, because she ended up talking about it back in the day, like, she just walks around so angry, you know, all the time. And, you know, because obviously for her dad, she wants him to be able to live life without being scared of, like, this situation happening, you know. I mean, this is something he's lived his entire life in fear of. She's always lived her life in fear of this situation. For it to kind of be all happening right now, it's a lot, you know? There's also Kyle visiting Stephanie. Obviously, like, Stephanie kind of, it's like, wait, tell me the truth. Are you the one that's behind everything, stealing stuff? He's like, yeah, but it's not like that. Like, I'm just helping people who can't really get the help. But she's like, yeah, but you doing that, like, this is like basically saying that her dad's not in the most favorable position, that basically because Kyle took this stuff and it was kind of like a very like was a genome machine, like he was kind of held responsible for that, so he could potentially lose his job, and the amounts of money it costs to take care of her with her condition, like, you know. And obviously Kyle was like, I never realized, like, obviously, like, he thought like this whole situation was going to ripple just to him. He didn't realize it was going to have the ripple effects itself. I mean, that's the sad thing about the situation. Like, obviously Liz didn't think too much about the ripple effects because she's like, oh, it's fine, no one's going to know, and it led right back to Kyle. She doesn't know right now that Kyle's in trouble at work, and not knowing that now Stephanie's, you know, dad's job is at threat. So Kyle is willing to turn himself in, you know, and be like, yeah, I want to say goodbye because, you know, now I'm probably going to get fired once I fess up with all this, you know, so it'll be the last time we see each other. But Steph is kind of like, you know what, show up to work tomorrow. My dad's in a position, having a dying daughter, he's likely to do whatever I asked him to do. So, but she's like, I haven't forgiven you, Kyle, but, you know, you can go. But it's just, so I don't think things are completely over with them. Obviously, they've hit the rough patch, obviously, because she thinks like, oh, you're just with me because like, oh, kind of like, oh, I'm the dying girl. Like, that's kind of her perspective on it. So maybe when they get a chance to really, really talk, maybe that'll change things. But another aspect to this episode is Isabel going to see Rosa. And it crossed my mind the moment she was suggesting going to see Rosa. I was like, do you think they're going to pick that up? I mean, to be fair, everything between Rosa and Isabel was through Noah. So obviously, but part of me was wondering, like, because obviously it's like she's volunteering and she's been spending a lot of time with Rosa recently. Like, I feel like outside of Liz, Isabel is the one person that's gotten so, I mean, to be fair, like, Rosa's not really in a position to have a whole bunch of friends, but it's like Isabel's made sure to get close to her, and she's like, oh yeah, like, brought you this stuff, and it's like, came to check on you, like, took a picture of her doing yoga and stuff like that, because she's like, I need it, you know, picture proof and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, she's like, I'm trying to fight my instincts and stuff like that, so I haven't looked into your journal, your you know, pictures and stuff, like, is mainly a picture book. And she's like, okay, actually, I took a peek, because she was hoping to look back at times of, you know, her sketchbook at times because she's trying to find herself much like Rosa is. And so it's a situation of, I wanted to kind of know a part of myself that I didn't really get to know. The part of me when Noah was in control, she's thinking that maybe there's a piece of herself there. And so they're looking through the sketchbook and everything. And obviously there's one particular memory she had about like when she wanted to actually, the first time she ever really, really wanted to get clean, and she showed up at a meeting and she wanted Isabel to see the memory. So she sees it, and it turns out that memory, Rosa saw her mom, and it's like her mom talking about getting clean and stuff like that, but like the hardship of like still being in love with their dad. But the complicated thing is like she can't like, cause when she like basically they had children together, so it makes that break harder, because it's like you're always going to be bound together by this. And so for her it's like I kind of wish we didn't have children, because I guess it's like the response, because once again, and it's even something Liz and Rosa always said, it's like she never wanted to be a mom, and you know, in retrospect now, and now it's a situation of like she can't help but look in his eyes and see theirs. So it's just a constant reminder, you know. So she wishes she could have a clean break, because her life is no longer her own, because no matter how far she gets, she's still a mother, you know, no matter how she tries to get away from it. And Isabel was like, why are you showing this to me? She's like, I know everything you're trying to do is about trying to get to know your mom. And she's like, you know, I just wanted to show you like me wishing I knew mine a little less. And so obviously she tries to call up her mom, but her mom's boyfriend or whatever picks up, and it's like, oh, you're the person that took her. And it's just like, wait, what? I'm like, so her mom's been taken, so it's like, what's going on here? And obviously Rosa's kind of worried. She's like, maybe, you know, maybe my mom was taken, or maybe she's just having a bender. Maybe she left her new family like she left her old one. She's like, for her, it's like, I have a week left, so I'm not just going to abandon this now. And it's like, I'll go back and I'll stay as long as I need to, as long as it takes for me to get better. And it's interesting because, like, you know, Isabel talks about the fact is that she got to know, like, you know, obviously last episode, Home Dude told her, like, oh, you're so much like your mom that, it's like her, because she has all this, money from Noah and everything. So she wants to do good with it because it's like, because obviously the more and more she learns about Luis, the more like she learns of like, oh, how much good she did. Because I think for Isabel, she kind of looks at herself as like, I've always kind of been a little selfish. And so I want to kind of change it. I want to change myself. I want to do good much like my mom, So obviously she wants to go see Michael. Michael's torturing Flint, but Flint's like, oh, like this was all about getting to you. Alex was going to be my leverage against you, so you're going to do what I want. And for him, it's like, yeah, the fact of the matter is, you want to make it seem like, oh, you're anti, like, here you are, like, being so, like, aggressive towards humans, and you wonder why we're so, like, worried about you kind of attacking us and stuff like that. But it's like, and Michael even says, like, I was always calm and collected until I was provoked. One of the times that's always his thing. Like, obviously he's getting so much anger because of you and your dad. Your dad, made him see like humans in a different way. And it's like, he's always had this anger, this hatred in him because of just everything. But also like Jesse didn't help. You didn't help either. And it's just kind of, because I think Flint's almost laughing because he's almost like, oh, look at you trying to be human and stuff like that. Oh, caring about my brother. And it's like, yeah, I'm not going to kill him. The fact is, yes, he's alive, but you're going to do what we want. So you're going to hook me. At the same time, Max comes to Liz, and obviously for him, it's like, I know you're lying about spending the night with Maria because I saw Maria leave, so it's like, I know you're lying, I just didn't want to bring it up, but I kind of have to. And she's like, nothing between me and Diego. He's like, I wish it was about you and Diego. What are you doing in that lab of yours? And it's like, oh shit, it's coming to a head. Because for him, it's like, why is Kyle locked out too? And so she breaks down what she's done. It's like, yeah, for her, it's like, I just want to heal Steph's Kyle's girlfriend because of all that Kyle's done for us. It's the least I can do. He's like, okay, once you do that, you're done. She's like, yeah, but I could do so much with it. He's like, yeah, with alien DNA. And but what if it got out? And she's like, no, it won't get out. I can, I would never let that happen. But it's like, the fact of the matter is, basically, it's a situation where she's trying to justify what she's doing, but for Max, he's pissed off because it's like, but you didn't ask at all. It's not like you asked any of us if you could do what you did. You did it behind our backs, And then she's like, oh, this is about making decisions without informing the other. And he's like, what's this about, bringing your sister back? I don't know if she knows about all this stuff that he's doing right now, trying to reclaim his memories. But then, like, Isabel and Rosa show up and they're like, yeah, and Liz is like, yeah, mom might have been taken. You were right, because obviously Max and Kyle found the box that the ring was in, that he got the ring back, but she kept the box. So it's like, okay, so Flint might have taken her because the hunting truck and everything. But then they look at the letter that Flint said that he left for Michael about Alex. And then it's like, wait, this is Helena's handwriting. And it's like, wait, what? I was like, holy shit. That twist of like, oh, their mom's working on it. So it's like, dude, if they didn't already dislike their mom enough, now finding out like, oh, your mom's a part of all of this. So it's like, okay. And obviously Michael was being injected by her, and she's like, you're going to build us something, build us a bomb. And it's like, wait, what? So part of me is like, okay. So, what is Helena's connection to all this? Does she must have a connection to the Maines family? Like, is that why she eventually got on drugs and stuff? Like, why she had her addiction issues? Like, because it seems like obviously whoever she's with now, her new family, they have no idea what she's up to. Obviously, she faked her kidnapping and everything, or made it seem like she was kidnapped. But it's like, to find out, like I said, it's got to be heartbreaking to realize that your mom is neck deep in all this, especially because Liz and Rosa are so connected to this. Obviously, they're neck deep in all this like stuff, and just to find out like your own mom is connected to all of this, that she's kidnapped Alex. And now part of me is wondering, is because eventually maybe they'll call up Maria and they'll actually get Maria's help because she has her powers and everything. They might be able to use her to find Alex, maybe potentially. But it's like, I'm so interested in finding that out. Like, what is her connection to this? Is it like a family thing? Like, does her family date back to the alien situation? Like, maybe her no, because like they're from I mean, that still doesn't. I don't know. Like, why she's so, maybe it's because she found out aliens were responsible for what happened to Rosa. So for her, this is her long-term revenge. It's been a plan of like, oh, I know you aliens are behind that, so I want to build this bomb to wipe out aliens, because it's Charlie's weapon that could go after specific DNA. Like, obviously, you could kind of target whoever you want to. Obviously, you add in alien DNA, you can end up wiping out all aliens. It's kind of like, it's meant to, like, that was kind of the weapon they were, that's what many people want Charlie's weapon for, in particular, Flint and Helena. It begs the question, are they the only two behind this? Are there other people? I don't know. A lot of questions that hopefully we get some answers to going forward into the next episode. But really, that's all I want to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day, and goodbye.